F-16 pilots from the United States of America and the Netherlands have started defending Ukraine's skies from Russian drones and missiles. In fact, supposedly American and Dutch pilots have finally started to close the Ukrainian sky from Russian attacks. Well, in particular, a whole lot of media are spreading this information today, and the original source of this information is the French publication, the specialized publication Intelligence Online, which deals specifically with open source intelligence analytics and research in the military field. And this publication writes that in Ukraine, in recent weeks, an F-16 squadron has been formed, which for the first time includes pilots from the United States and the Netherlands. This is what the publication, which specializes in intelligence data, writes about, and according to the publication, the formation of the unit took place under strict secrecy to ensure the management of the new fighter jets. At the moment, the squadron's task is to protect the skies. For some reason, it sounds strange that it's only over the Kiev region, which is regularly subjected to massive Russian strikes. Well, let's discuss this information in this episode, how accurate it is, and what the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine has to say about it. So let's also discuss with you in general how possible this is, how likely such a scenario is. My name is Alexei Pechi. Let's discuss this topic together, but before we start, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, like the video, leave any comment under this episode, and be sure to subscribe to my Telegram channel, Pechi News. The link to it is in the description for this. There we publish breaking news as it comes in. So, the French publication Intelligence Online, which specializes in working with intelligence data, writes that in recent weeks a secret F-16 squadron has been formed in Ukraine, which for the first time includes pilots from the United States and the Netherlands. The formation of such a unit was reportedly carried out under the strictest secrecy in order to ensure the operation of the new fighter jets, which are now flying over Kiev. And as the publication writes, among the American pilots who arrived in Ukraine are veterans of military operations in Afghanistan and the Middle East. On the Dutch side, pilots who have been trained in elite European aviation schools specializing in modern tactical air combat methods and high-tech airborne operations have been brought in. As specified by Intelligence Online, the foreign pilots signed temporary contracts with the armed forces, which provide for rotation every 6 months and the possibility of extension. At the same time, they do not have official military ranks in the Ukrainian forces and are not included in public lists, but nevertheless they fly F-16s and shoot down Russian drones and missiles. As the publication writes, Ukraine is using F-16 fighter jets supplied by Western countries to intercept Russian Kaliber and Kh-101 cruise missiles as well as Shahed drones that Russia. Unlike Ukrainian pilots, Western pilots know how to operate high-tech equipment, in particular sniper targeting and reconnaissance pods. This system allows targets to be seen at long distances and enables tracking of missiles and drones in darkness or through clouds. I should point out right away that it sounds strange to claim that Ukrainian pilots supposedly don't know how to handle such weaponry, since all Ukrainian pilots flying F-16s have been trained in the West, including in the United States. It would be strange if they were trained to operate these fighter jets but weren't taught how to use the target detection system. That would look strange, but Intelligence Online still insists this is the case. In addition, back in 2023, the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine considered the possibility of signing contracts with foreign military specialists, including pilots and technicians, in 2024. Let me remind you, American Senator and aviation Republican Lindsey Graham, during his trip to Kiev, noted that Ukraine could hire American pilots from among veterans to fly F-16 aircraft while Ukrainian pilots are undergoing training. Next, I will quote him. Ukrainians are looking among NATO countries for ready pilots who have retired to help them until Ukraine trains its own pilots. So, do you hear how the question sounds here? Ukrainians will be looking among NATO countries for ready pilots. So, not hypothetically, but they really will. But until now, there has been no official information about foreign pilots, and today the first official comment appeared. The head of the communications department of the Air Force Command of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Yuri Ikhnat, today denied the statement about a secret F-16 squadron with foreign pilots in Ukraine, noting the work of Ukrainian pilots. According to him, the French publication Intelligence Online spread false information about this supposedly secret squadron with foreign pilots. And jokingly, Ignat noted, "Yeah, and Tom Cruise is leading this squadron." But at the same time, he emphasized that Ukrainian Air Force pilots demonstrate the highest efficiency, successfully shooting down Russian drones and missiles. Ignat emphasized that they also neutralized most of the cruise missiles. This happened this morning, that is February 17th, and here is his quote. However, it was also useful to look at the reaction of the Russians. They still stubbornly refuse to believe in the success of Ukrainian pilots and the development of the aviation component of the Ukrainian Air Force. I won't presume to say who is right or wrong in this situation, or whether there are foreign pilots in the F-16 squadron or not. But for your consideration, I want to share a quote from one of the leading architects of modern air operations strategy, and it's from that very same American veteran pilot David Deptula. And he actually expressed his position on this matter not now, but back in the middle of 2025. But that quote of his actually reflects the question of whether foreign pilots can really fly F-16s in Ukraine. Next, here is his entire quote verbatim, and you can draw your own conclusions. There is not a single direct legal prohibition that would prevent American pilots, those who are no longer on active duty, from helping Ukraine. We are already seeing the same thing with many American Army veterans. The real obstacles are practical and political, not legal. Flying an F-16 in combat conditions is not just about taking a seat in the cockpit. It's about full integration into the command and control system, the rules of engagement, and the overall air campaign plan. However, with the appropriate diplomatic channels and agreements in place, experienced American pilots can assist Ukraine, particularly as instructors or advisors, and even directly in combat missions if they operate under Ukrainian command. But this requires political will from both sides. And don't forget, Ukrainian air defense relies heavily on Western systems, and American pilots have unique experience in using them as effectively as possible. If the decision is made and the technical aspects of integration are resolved, their contribution could be immediate and significant. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and don't forget to like if you found this episode useful and interesting. You can support our YouTube channel financially with any donation or by purchasing a paid sponsorship subscription. For example, sponsorship on YouTube, Patreon, Buy Me Coffee, PayPal, crypto wallets, all these details are available. That's all. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye, everyone.